Hey everyone, I'm Crystal Maldonado, young adult author of rom-coms for fat brown girls. You may know me from books like Fat Chance Charlie Vega, No Filter and Other Lies, or my latest, The Fall of Whit Rivera. I'm really excited to read you the first chapter from The Fall of Whit Rivera today, which follows the story of 17-year-old Whit, who has just come off kind of the worst summer ever, and she's determined to make her fall so much better by planning the homecoming dance called the Fall Fest. Unfortunately for her, she gets paired up with her hot ex-boyfriend and then has to figure out how to make things work while still achieving her dreams of making homecoming amazing. There is plenty of delicious fall goodness in here if you're a fan of New England autumns. There's also boy bands, Gilmore Girls references, there's chronic illness rep, there's autism rep, there's LGBTQIA plus representation, identity, family, friendships, all kinds of delightful things in here, as well as a cat named Patch after a pumpkin patch. So let's read an excerpt from chapter 1. Chapter 1. What is it about fall that makes me so basic? Well before the sticky summer days have cooled, I'm salivating over leaf peeping and farmers markets and cider tastings. At the stroke of midnight, on the eve of autumn, I turn into an apple-picking, pumpkin spice craving, boot and oversized sweater wearing fanatic. Autumn is when my sleepy Massachusetts town sheds its old life. The leaves become a symphony of reds, oranges, and golds. Then let go. I love the colors, the crisp breeze, the pumpkin patches, the bonfires, the delicious scent of apple cinnamon, the melody the trees make when they rustle in the wind. Fall is catharsis. It's paying tribute to what was while making room for what's to come. It's possibility wrapped in a crimson bow. The season is honestly in my top 5 favorite things ever. Whit Rivera's all-time faves. Number 1, my tiny little family, me, abuela, abuelo, who we miss every single day, my little sister Lily, and our cat Patch. Number 2, my ride or die besties, Sophie and Marisol, and my super hot boyfriend Aiden. Number 3, fall and every single thing about it, including the high school's beloved Fall Fest, a week-long celebration. Number 4, my notebook collection and my infinite lists. Number 5, Gilmore Girls. And a final secret 6th edition, Intonation, the best-selling boy band that Lily, Abuela, and I have loved since I was in 8th grade. Shh. At this time of year, everything feels hopeful. And right about now, I could use a little hope because my summer kind of sucked. I had been ready for a productive yet charming summer. I pictured hard days at the coveted internship I'd secured at Empowered Teens, a selective summer program for aspiring special needs educators and therapists, where I'd be praised for my organizational skills, leadership, and compassion. I envisioned late night bonfires, spontaneous road trips to the beach, the sweet taste of ice cream, refreshing dips in the pool, sandy toes, and laughter with my friends and my boyfriend. How incredible does that sound? But I didn't get any of it because my summer kicked off with a heartbreaking goodbye. My boyfriend Aiden moved 200 miles away for his mom's new job at the University of New Hampshire. This then made me feel like a fifth wheel with my own best friends, who turned out to be joined at the hip with their partners from May straight through August. And then came the doctor's appointments, which I was too embarrassed to talk about, so maybe I retreated a little. I don't know. What I do know is that the second my junior year concluded, my whole body suddenly felt off. Actually, if I'm honest with myself, I had been ignoring signs that something was wrong for a while. I could no longer pretend it wasn't normal that I hadn't gotten my period in months. I was sprouting body hair everywhere, and I was gaining weight really fast, mostly in my belly. It was like I'd lost total and complete control over every facet of my life, in a way no Whit Rivera list or color-coded binder was going to fix. I couldn't even work up the courage to tell Sophie and Marisol, and I sure as hell wasn't going to tell Aiden. The move had put enough of a strain in our relationship. I didn't even tell Abuela. I was too ashamed, too fearful, too reluctant to add anything to her already full plate. She had enough to worry about between being the sole provider, her own health, and her business. But Abuela sensed something, as Latina matriarchs always seem to, and a few obsessive internet searches later, we had 3 words to describe what might be wreaking havoc on my body: polycystic ovarian syndrome, or PCOS. I should have been relieved to have a name for this experience, to be able to point to a reason why my body no longer felt like my own. But the more I read about the syndrome, the more I realized that the medical world seemed utterly mystified by it. There were few answers and no treatments. Still, we diligently went to the doctors, in appointment after appointment, under offensively bright lighting, with parts of my body spilling out of the blue gown. I'd be told the same thing: lose weight. The whole summer vanished as we careened from doctor to doctor. They couldn't, or wouldn't, confirm that there was anything medically wrong with the soft brown girl standing before them, insisting instead that it was the circumference of her hips that was her grave undoing. Over the course of the summer, I was referred to 4 nutritionists, 2 different fat camps, and no less than 7 bariatric surgeons. I spent so much time in and out of doctors' offices trying to confirm that what I already knew was polycystic ovarian syndrome that I ended up having to resign from the Empowered Teens internship I had been so excited about. I burrowed into the comfort of our family shop instead, working there whenever I could. It was the nail in the freaking coffin of what was supposed to be WHIT's perfect summer. But finally, a ray of hope. Dr. Diana Lee Delgado, a slim, dark-skinned Afro-Dominican woman with the most beautiful accent, the first doctor to let me share all of my symptoms without interrupting, the first doctor to ask how I felt, the first doctor to actually look up at me from her notes and meet my gaze, the first doctor to see me. Dr. Delgado nodded as I spoke and was ready with a tissue when I started crying. She told me it sounded like my self-diagnosis was correct, and that she was proud of me for being so proactive. It would only take 1 follow-up test, she promised, and then we'd know for sure. Dr. Delgado was right, and so was I. But even with the official diagnosis to explain what was happening to my body, I couldn't bring myself to utter the words out loud. I didn't want it to be real. PCOS was my little secret, a weight I quietly shouldered throughout a season I wished would just end already, as if summer were the real cause of all my problems. But that had to be it, right? Because Fall and I, we kind of have a thing. It would never treat me this way. So that was a little excerpt from the first chapter of The Fall of Whit Rivera. You get a glimpse into who Whit is, how she's feeling, how she's coming off this really tough summer, that you see that her heart is full of love, and that she can't wait for the fall. So I hope you check it out. I hope you like it. And thank you so much for listening.